Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna have a very interesting video about Punisher 2099. Now just before I installed the update, I actually did bring in my Punisher 2099 pre-buff for Realm of Legends Winter Soldier fight, just to see how his damage was realistically, because let's be honest, nobody really plays Punisher 2099 pre-buff. And I wanted to know for myself, and I wanted to know how many hits it's going to be. By the fact that this fight is sped up twice, you guys can probably realize that this fight took a while. This fight, in fact, took over 8 minutes, which is not great for a 6-star rank 1 champion. Now, when it comes to hit counts, let's keep in mind that all of Punisher's special attacks are quite hefty on the hit counter. So the hit count would technically be slightly inflated, opposed to, I don't know, Star-Lord or some champions who have like 2, 3, 4 hit special attacks, because these babies do amass quite a lot of hits. And during this fight, obviously because it was taking so long, I was testing out several rotations. For a while I will go for like a heavy spam, then mainly I'm trying to rely on that level 2 armor break debuff, and then try and keep my overdrive active as long as I can with level 1 spam, or basically I'm mixing it up. This definitely isn't like the optimal ideal way how to play Punisher, because I quite frankly doubt that there are many people who know or at least knew optimal way how to play Punisher pre-buff, because again, nobody really played the guy. So here I went for level 3, but I think I did it wrong, because I think I would have needed to have a battery active. But here you can see the 290 hits in, the Punisher is at 50% mark. So basically it goes roughly around 300 hits to get Winter Soldier down halfway, which is not great by any stretch of the imagination. At this point, even Iron Fist would outdamage the guy, because Iron Fist, I believe, takes about 400 hits with no synergies, with no extra health, with no nothing, as a 6-star rank 1 champion. And this was definitely the kind of core reason why Punisher never got used, because as I had frequently referenced Punisher 2099, some of the stuff he does quite cool. The problem is the stuff he does is not worth doing with that damage output. Why would you do that to yourself if you can finish off Winter Soldier in like minute and a half with a plethora of high damaging 6-star rank 1 champions? Then spending 8 minutes to do so, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, does it? Now we are closing in towards the end of the fight, and before we jump to the next fight showcase, which is post buff, I definitely also want to mention that despite or even with the results that Punisher got post buff, I do think he will have a significant meta use, and I do think he has a fairly unique ability, which actually is making me slowly consider maxing out my 5-star Punisher. And that is the fact that he can play in a way where opponent gets 0 power and never activates a single special attack. And that is when he's in his overdrive, opponents receive 90% or less power. But with Tech Mastery, you can further that and exceed 100% power reduction your opponents will receive. And that, in theory, should mean that so long as you're in overdrive, which after the buff is quite significantly easier to achieve because you gain more battery quicker, and especially if you're awakened, you can enter overdrive extremely early on in the fight. You should have a way to play Punisher 2099, maybe not in his optimal damage rotation, but without ever letting opponent reach a bar of power, no matter how long the fight is, with the Tech Mastery, or without opponent receiving a bar of power without the Tech Mastery in moderately medium to short length fights, which is unique to Quake currently, because Quake is one of the very few champions that can do that. There's still Dormammu and Vision as well, but I think Punisher could be a really viable option to completely suppress opponent's power, which is extremely valuable ability. But now I can see that post-buff he definitely hits a lot harder. Now the one thing that did annoy me and that I found kind of frustrating is that it's extremely hard to get your maximum damage output, which would be by dropping 2 level 2s and maintaining in overdrive mode. Because normally, typically, you will have enough time to drop 2 level 2s, but at that point your battery is going to be close to depleted, and you might not have enough time to get to level 1 or whichever case. So if there is one kind of like bigger criticism, is that I really wish there would be a way to somehow refresh that armor break, or just basically enter a loop where you get 2 armor break debuffs and can maintain your overdrive by spamming level 1s. Now it could still be possible, but it's still really hard. And I do make a few slip-ups in this fight. It's all good though. We're gonna see the final hit counter towards the end of the fight. But the damage output definitely has improved quite significantly. Even here in this situation, I am not in overdrive, but I do have 2 of my armor breaks active. I'm quickly trying to get to overdrive, but unfortunately those armor breaks are gonna expire by that time. But still, we are doing significantly more damage. It's not going to be high tier damage, it's not going to be insane damage, despite if you see a 6-star rank 3 Punisher on suicides hitting like what, 15k 16k mediums. No, that's a 6-star rank 3 on suicides, and that's not classed as absolutely crazy damage. His damage is better, much better. His damage is improved by more than 100%, I'd say about 150%. So he has basically more than double the damage that he used to, which just about makes him good enough to be played and good enough to be used if his utilities hold up. And the notion about utilities I mentioned earlier. So hopefully, and this is actually where I would love to see a CCP video testing out a Punisher with the tech mastery, whether it's possible to maintain opponents with no power at all whatsoever. So here we can see the 259 opposed to 600 hits. But yeah, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So here we go. Punisher damage output has been more than doubled. And hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.